Hello YouTube and welcome back to another episode of Max Pounder's Battle Reports, and today I'm bringing you another 9th Age version 1.2. Again, it's going to be using 4500 points. It's going to be my Dread Elves versus Ogre Khans. So without further ado, let's get into it. I will apologise in advance. This is going to be a short battle report. I kept on getting distracted and didn't take very many photos, but you'll get the gist of what's going on. I've gone really MSU and the Ogre Khans play actually went quite solid. Basically 2 big blocks and that's it. So in terms of movement and stuff like that, there's not that much, but you'll see as we go through. So let's get on to it. So these are the lists. I'm not going to waste your time. If you want to look at them in detail, you can pause it. But basically I'm running a dragon, a manticore, lots of other stuff, and yeah, that's it. And you can see from him he's got like the big unit of 12 tribesmen and the 4 Tusker cavalry and the rock, but that's it really. It's interesting to note that I've got no magic. I'm trying the Crown of Scorn and the Ether icon. Personally, spoiler, I don't like it. I think you're wasting even if you only got a little magic, you can generally still get 1 spell off a turn, and certainly I think at this level I would have preferred to drop those Dread Knights, for example, and use the extra points to give Dark Acolytes and spells, just because it's a wasted resource otherwise. But he's using Shamanism, which is a really good lore, and as you can see, the spells he's got. But anyway, let's move on and get into deployment. So with me going this whole MSU, very quick, small points, nothing really gives up that many points. He works out quite quickly that I'm just going to out-deploy him no matter what he does. He can literally deploy his entire army and I'll still have drops of the important stuff. So it's going to be very hard for him to get the matchup. So he deploys us 2 units of the Bruisers out on the flank, the big block in the middle, so he can send that where he wants. Bombardiers in the middle as well to choose their targets. The rock, and the 4 Tusker cavalry. So basically at this point I'd only drop like the witches on the flanks. I'm happy with those taking on the Bruisers. The secondary objective is hold the middle. So as you can see in the middle, that glass box, that's the objective. So what I do is I deploy my shooting quite far back. The idea here was that I can outshoot him with my 2 bolt throwers, and I am scared of those bombardiers, especially against my more squishier stuff. Like if he takes off a couple of wounds off anything like the Kraken, the Dragon or the Manticore, I'm going to be scared about throwing that into the big combat, because really I need everything against that big block to be able to win it. So what I'm hoping is that he'll sort of see those crossbowmen as a fake threat and come forward and shoot them. Luckily that building's really good, because that's allowed me to sort of deploy my main hitters away from his big block, so that I can deal with, hopefully the idea is that I use the multiple wounds I've got on the Manticore captain and the Kraken to be able to kill the stuff with multiple wounds. For example, the heavy Tusker cavalry and the rock. I mean the Kraken's going to be really good against those, hopefully, and obviously that's where I've put my poison warlocks as well, because obviously the poison's going to be very good against rock as well. So the idea is that I'll use the building to shepherd them into that funnel hole, kill those, swing round, chip away the wounds and the bombardiers. Witches will take care of the bruisers, and then everything can swing round it and pick on that big block. Because at the moment he can only, if he goes to the left, then that's fine, because I'm happy the objective's left then. Or if he comes straight down the middle, by the time he's done that, I can sweep by on both flanks. I quite like the soft centre approach. I think it's a good deployment to use against someone who's not numerically advantaged as you. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, but on the far right I've put a unit of Raven Cloaks. They're going to be my chaff, because that's what's going to be able to get me that charge against those Tusker cavalry, because I really need to charge with the captain on the Manticore, because otherwise, without the strength 6 of a charge from the lance, he's going to be next to useless to nothing. So deployments like that, I'm fairly happy with that. I'm quite it's looking good for me. To be honest, this is a bad matchup because he's got very much, a big block with a lot of points in, but it's only been tuned up. I mean, the only things which are worth any points really in anything, the only 2 things which are worth above 300 points is the Dragon and the Manticore. So really, you kill one of the other units, I don't really mind. And this is why I like MSU, and certainly playing this game, I will play these min-sized units again, because I believe that's where the meta is at the moment, but we'll see. So getting on to Ogre Khan's turn 1. He doesn't actually move that much. He can't really move the Tusker or the Rock straight forward, because obviously he can just countercharge and kill one of them and then get set up for the next one. So he sort of hangs back with those. He moves the Bombardiers up by walking, because he's got a plan for the magic phase, because he's got the... I'm going to call it Get 'em Lads, but I'm not quite sure of what that spell's called, but it's one that can allow them to do magical movement. And then he just sort of pivots his other Khans, you know, the big block with the Khan in and the BSB and the Shaman and everything like that as round. To be honest, there's no way I'm going to jump into that block until I've got... If I can send the Kraken, the Dragon, the Manticore, and 2 units of a Warlocks, maybe like a unit of Witches or the Dread Knights or something like that into that block, I'm not going to touch it because of the 3 characters, which are just, you know, quite hard to get rid of. I'm going to be steadfast for most of it, because I've only got 1 rank. The only things which have 2 ranks in my army is the crossbowmen, and one of them dies and they lose a rank, so it's going to be hard for me to break them. Yeah, so in Magic he gets 10 dice to 5. He does a +1 toughness spell I'm not bothered about, and he also does the movement spell, but I have to stop. I stop -1 to hit, and then he cleverly does whatever the spell's called. I'm going to call it No Not the Bees, from the classic film with Nicolas Cage in that we all know about, where he shouts No Not the Bees, because that is the spell. I think he targets one of either the crossbowmen or the repeater, and I just don't really want to lose that much shooting at the start of the game. So he draws out the scroll first turn, which, yeah, I know I shouldn't use it, but it's happened anyway now. And then his shooting, because of that long range and stuff like that, he only managed to pick off 3 of the crossbowmen, and they don't panic, which is hilarious, because they're actually, because of my genius positioning, they're actually within 6 inches of the other crossbowmen. And those crossbowmen are within 6 inches of the Dread Reapers, so actually if they'd run off the board and countered as destroyed, then the other repeaters would counter-destroy, would have to face a panic and possibly might run off, and then the Dread Reaper would have to face a fight and might run off. I mean, the chances are that wouldn't all happen, but for the sake of half an inch, that's really, you know, things I shouldn't be doing. So a moment's consideration if you're playing that sort of list. Yeah, so Dread Elves turn 1, so I don't really need to commit to... Well, I commit now, so I throw those Raven Cloaks up, and then position my monsters like so to get the counter charge, the Warlocks to get the counter charge as well. The thing I didn't realise about this is that the Rock's got a juicy flank charge. I mean, I don't care about it killing the Raven Cloaks, they're there to die, it's 85 points. The problem is that it can still get an overrun into the Manticore, and get the impact hits. I mean, it's still quite a way to overrun. And you'll also see in future turns that cleverliness, that 6-inch rule, I don't know whether it's because I'm playing undead. You know, this is my second game of Dread Elves, but I've actually put those Raven Cloaks within 6 inches of the dragon. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, so that's it, just move everything else up. In the centre, I actually charge both the Witches and I charge the Dark Raiders out the way for the Witches to come in. The Witches need an 8. I don't make it, but the Dark Raiders get in anyway. And then on the left, I just charge up the Witches, because if he gets the impact hits, I don't care about him charging me and getting the impact hits, because the Witches will, on average, kill 2 of them before he gets to strike. And I've got those Knights there to get the counter charge anyway. And there's no way he'll kill me to the last man with all his attacks, so I'm fairly confident there as well. I have no magic, so shooting just does 4 wounds here. Not too bad. Would have liked to kill 2, but long range repeater auxiliaries aren't that good really, especially not against tough 4 and 3 wounds. They're not going to pick off that many models. Yeah, in combat, these guys actually do really well. They do 4 wounds, and he only manages 2 wounds back, which is surprising, because he should, on average, kill 3, really. Yeah, so I win by 1, I think, but he's within the General's leadership, and... oh, no, it might win by 2. I think I'll win by 2. But either way, he's within the General leadership, and he sticks, so now I'm going to die, because I don't have my Light Lancers now. Which would have been good if I won that and charged forward with those. It would have been really helpful, but it is what it is. So his turn 2, he's going to charge those bruisers into the Witches, and yeah, I'll take that because I think I'll win that fight. He charges the rock lobster into the raven cloaks. Sorry, apologise, I keep on using the wrong names. I'll try my best going forward. This is a smart move because he gets into the manticore. I've got to then commit to the rock, killing him with everything, and then probably those. It means that his Tusker cavalry can then get the counter charge of me. So it's a good idea, definitely. I mean, hopefully you won't overrun the distance, and then I can fly over and charge the Tusker cavalry anyway. But at the moment, he's in a bad position, and you know you got to force his hand. So smart move. And yep, the rock lobster gets in, and as you can see on the left hand side, they get in as well. Another movement, I think he just moves up his bombardiers, and he just moves up his. I believe he moves up his big block into the forest, which obviously, if I was actually thinking about it, you'll see on the next slide. We'll come to it. I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, so do you know how I mentioned about how if you leave stuff within 6 inches? So the shade's actually scrunched up, and I was like, oh, that'll be fine. It will be enough space. It wasn't enough space. He was in 5.5 inches. Leadership 10. Rolled an 11, and he's going to run off the board. I know from there the angle seems a bit odd because obviously you run centre to centre, but I rolled an 11, so he's definitely off the board. My opponent was quite jubilant at this because that's a big swing on this side. I mean, that's 900 points that's just gone running. Hilariously, everyone goes to me, oh, BSB, though, on your Manticore, and I go, nope. And they go, oh. And I go, I never play BSB. They say, why? It's 25 points. And I go, yeah, but I never play a BSB. Will this make me play a BSB? No. No, it will not, because I don't like playing with BSB. Hilariously, this, you know, it would have really helped here, but pride comes before the fall, as they say. Yeah, the bruisers actually do surprisingly well, so I only do 5 wounds, and he does something like 7, I believe. Doesn't catch them, which obviously leaves him for a juicy flank charge by those Dread Knights, but actually he could have won that and chased them down, so that's quite a big let-off for me, because obviously one of the advantages I've got at the moment, not only being faster, is that I've got much more scoring units than him, so it's going to be easier for me to take the second objective. To be honest, as long as they rally, that's a pretty good, you know, they're still above 25%, so if we're going to rally on 8, probably going to happen. Yeah, this is hilarious. I mean, hitting on 4s is really, really, I don't know, it just makes such a big difference. Because he just rolls really badly, and this is something he does all the game. When he's hitting on 4s, he just rolls really badly. So only kills 2. I think I do a wound, maybe. And then I go, do you want to reform? He goes, no, there's no point. And I go, well, I just want to get those witches in, so I'll reform a bit to the right. Now, meanwhile, while this is happening, Slatch, who's on Team England, who also runs, does a Twitch feed of these games, actually. We actually live stream this game. I'll put the link down tomorrow. So every Friday night, English time, I think that's Greenwich Meridian time, there's going to be a live stream. Start about 6:30, I guess. And we'll be live streaming of 9th Age. I believe it'll be this Friday. I think I'll be playing Slatch. Might be the live stream, so tune in for that. I'll post the link below for people who want to watch that live. So anyway, Slatch is watching this game and he's having an aneurysm. He's just twitching as if like he just can't he's got to keep it in, but he can't keep it in because it'll affect the game. And I go, what is it? I was like, have a position my dragon, like obviously my dragon just died, but like have a position this way. And he's like, no, I can't tell you. For those of the more astute players, I could reform my Dark Raider there to go flank on against the bruisers. And as you can see, that would be giving me a big enough pivot to get into those big block of tribesmen. So charge, flank, 24 attacks, probably going to do 6 wounds to the tribesman, something like that. Maybe even more because with the hatred and the poison. 8, something like that. He has 12 attacks back because his characters can't move to the side. Say we'll hit 6 times, he's going to kill 6. I'm going to win, but he's not going to be steadfast. He's going to be steadfast, like losing on a 6 rerollable. Game winning move there, and I just completely missed it. and I don't know why. Because when he moved into Forest, I thought, well, that's good because he doesn't have his ranks, and it just never occurred to me. But this is what makes, you know, the best players the best, is that they don't get caught up in the game and they can look and go, okay, yeah, look, you know, not. I think you get a bit panicky sometimes because you really, you know, you want to do well, and I don't know. Bad move by me anyway, or a missed opportunity basically. Those witches, we'll get into those first, and now we kill them. So my turn 2. I'm going to start trying to pick up the points. The Manticore's going to fly over and hit those Tusker Raiders. My Kraken and some Warlocks are going to go to Rock or Rock. Obviously the Kraken's got distracting, so he's going to hit me on 5s, and the Warlocks have got a 4-up ward. So I'm fairly confident that I'm going to do well there, just because poison attacks, D3 wounds, strength 7. You know, and his high strength is negated by the fact that the Warlocks are the 4-up ward, or he has to hit on 5, so he's not going to do that much damage to either. Yeah, so combat, I think shooting, as you can see, again no magic, shooting as you can see picks off another 2 Bombardiers, very happy with that, that's really good. They're not that scary anymore. The Bruisers kill the last of the Dark Raider. The Dread Knights on the left charged and killed those other Bruisers. And I think I do 3 wounds, or 3 wounds or 4 wounds to the Rock or Rock. And then my Captain actually does really well. He charges and I think he does 5 wounds. Takes a wound in return, but they're steadfast and they hold. It was a bit of a punt. They'll grind him down now because he's only got a 3-up armour in combat. I think really with Twilight Cloak, you really need 4 attacks, and you definitely need the Prince. My first iterative list actually didn't have the Dread Knights in, and actually had that Prince on the Manticore a bit more tooled up. You know, with the Dragon Helm and the Cloak and the 4 attacks with the Lance, and it's just better. In that situation, I think he does, you know, on average he does the 7 wounds, which kills the 2, and means that he's it means against a strength 5 as well, he's still got the 4-up armour. But the Manticore, you know, he's going to be dead now. But it's not looking that bad, but it's not looking great. Yeah, his turn 3. He decides to take this bait and turn around to shoot these shades. I don't care, it's 85 points. I think he's given up against the crossbows. If I recall, I mean, he just rolls really badly. I mean, he rolls pretty badly, and I'm not just saying that. I know it honestly is like he had like 5d6 shots and he hit like 3 times and then failed to wound. And you actually see in this shooting phase, he tries to shoot those shades and misses completely, even at short range. And he hits once with like 14 shots. No, not even 14 shots. Yeah, I think it is 14 shots hitting on 4s. Or hitting on 5s. No, because they don't take penalties from me. Yeah, hitting on 4s, misses all but 1 and then fails to wound. So rotten luck. Yeah, in combat, the only combat is the one with the Manticore, and they managed to kill him. He only had 3 wounds left anyway. So yeah, without the D3 wounds of the Manticore, there's not enough hitting power in that unit to not put a Prince on him. Yeah, I don't see what else you could really do it, because he can get to a 2-up armour with a Prince, a Captain, but then you wouldn't have any points for any other sort of thing, and toughness 5, 2-up armour and 4 wounds isn't really that great against anything you really want to fight with. I mean, he's going to be just basically chaff clearer and small unit clearer, which you can't really do with a frenzied monster because he's just going to be running off wherever he wants. So I think if you're going to use the Manticore under version 1.2, he needs to have a Prince on because you need that killing power. So my turn 3, and this is where things work out quite well for me. I charge the Warlocks and the Kraken in because I'm probably going to... I think I win that. I think I take some damage, but I think I definitely win. Luckily, they fail their terror test and just flee off. Fantastic, I'll take that. I guess that makes up for the dragon failing his terror and flying off. Obviously no magic again. Shades just move out the way of... Well, they did move out the way of the big units, but because of the Bombardiers. But I actually just managed to just shoot them off completely, which is great. Get some points there. And I charge these in and kill them and win combat. He can't hit me back. And I don't manage to chase him down and he gets away. And that's my turn. So turn 4, basically spends a lot of time thinking about this. He was going to charge the Ravencloaks, but then obviously I'm just going to flee through the building and let him have a failed charge. So... oh, I think I've missed out a turn here. I was trying to work out when I was going through the photos where I'd missed out a turn. Yeah, I've missed out one of my movement phases and one of his movement phases. Maybe he did... no, he didn't charge. Yeah, I think he takes a reform and faces like this. So this is actually Ogre Khan's 5. So what I've missed out is obviously the position he is in now. He's reformed to that, and then as you can see, I've brought the Kraken and the Warlocks round and the Dread Knight up. Anyway, so this is turn 5. So yeah, so he spends ages because obviously he wants to stop me getting the secondary objective now, and he spends ages thinking about how he can do that. I think he's actually worked it out pretty well here. So he moves the tribesmen to block the secondary objective. He moves his BSB out to stop the repeat auxiliaries moving up forward, and then he moves out his general to either charge those witches or deter the Dread Knights, because the witches at the moment, if they fail the frenzy check, are going to charge that bruiser and then overrun. So he's positioned it quite well here to block me, basically. So Dread Elves 4, actually technically 5. Dread Knights fail their stupidity, which is why they're in prime position to be charged. Hilariously, that's a bit annoying because I was hoping just to march those onto the objective in the final turn. I can't move any of my repeat auxiliaries up yet, so I just move them. I don't move them at all. I managed to restrain the witches, so if his general charges them, that's fine, because this is actually turn 5, so it'd be his turn 6, which means I can move the Dread Knights over. Shooting doesn't do anything, by the way. So in his turn, he charges the Dread Knights. Now they're in easy charge range, which is frustrating because obviously still, if the witches fail the frenzy test, we're going to hit that bruiser, kill it, overrun, and be out of the range of the final objective. He charges the BSB into the repeat auxiliaries. He's actually going to stay for all game. I'm going to have one man left. He's going to roll really badly, and I'm going to roll quite well and hold there. And then he's just looking quite surrounded. So my turn 5, technically 6, wherever how you want to look. Basically the last turn. So I tried to get a terror test on the tribesmen. I don't fail my frenzy, so I reform the witches so they're within 6 inches. So at the moment it's a hard draw. Surprisingly enough, the Kraken makes it on an 11 or something like that to get in. And I go, oh crap, if I knew that I would have sent everything in. And he's like, oh, I'll just send everything in anyway. So I send him both units of Warlocks, Dark Acolytes, repeat auxiliaries, and Blades of Nab into the back. Yeah, and combat's just a mess. He only kills 7. He kills the 7 repeaters to obviously stop me breaking his steadfast. I mean, if I did, I think, one more wound, I would have killed him. But the Kraken and the Warlocks just... you can't get through the fort ward, or you can't hit the Kraken because of distracting. So it's yeah, they've just torn through that unit. If you look, how many wins have they done? 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, maybe 13 wins because I picked off one with shooting really well. And hilariously, making those charges, and because I killed the entire rank, pushes the Blades of Nab and the repeaters into within 6 inches of the objective. So actually, it goes from being a hard draw to a 13-7 to me. Technically, it's still a draw because my opponent was really, really fun, really relaxed, nice casual game, you know, sort of allowed me to chuck everything in. So technically, in a real game, I didn't declare those charges before rolling for the Kraken, so it wouldn't have been allowed. But great game, yeah. Quick post-match thoughts. What performed well? MSU is really good. Certainly against a list like his, you know, it's a very good matchup. I like, you know, having the shooting. I miss having a magic phase, even if it's just for 2 dark acolytes, having Yema. At least you're going to get 1 grave calls off a turn or 1 breath weapon off a turn. At the moment I just feel it's wasted, and you could still have the Ether icon. Manticores, you need to have a prince on top because otherwise they don't hit hard enough. Yeah, because you wouldn't even want to put a wizard on them because they're frenzied. So without their D3 wounds, I just personally, if you don't have a dread prince, I wouldn't bother taking one. Krakens are very, very good. If I had 2, I would take 2. The distractor makes them really hard to hit because of weapon skill 5. So anything with low weapon skill, which most monsters are, you'll find there's always a good, even just like Terror Check and Chaff Off is really useful to have. And he's only technically like 180 points. The D3 wounds is really good. The poison, I mean, he's only got 4 attacks, so yeah, so he'll flub every once in a while. He will flub. But the weapon skill 5 really helps, and leadership 8 really helps. I think they're very good. I would take 2. I think they've been given quite a good buff, really. So well done, Army Book Committee. Everything else performed as it should. Blades of Nab are still nasty for core. Dark Raiders still Dark Raiders, Ravencloaks still Ravencloaks. They're all very much the same. I mean, to be honest, to make this list more competitive, you drop the Manticore and the Dragon and take 3 Peg Lords, and then jobs are good. And drop the Dread Knights to get magic, and that's a pretty nasty MSU list actually. Well, I think so anyway. In terms of the Ogre Khan's list, there's certain elements, that big block, if you can't handle it, is actually really hard to get points off. And I guess that's the whole premise. I do like the Rock Lobster, and I do like the Tusker Cavalry. I think having the Tough 5 is a huge boost. The one thing we were discussing is it's free bruisers. If you take free bruisers, they're useless because they always go last, which ogres mostly do anyway, but they receive too much damage and can't really hit that much back, and they're not even very good as chaff. So personally, I would take, we were discussing this, I would take Noblars, or whatever they're called, Goblin Slaves, because you just take a couple of 15-man units, keep them on your back row, not to do anything, but just to last turn take the objective, especially in a game like this. They would have been really useful. Do I like version 1.2? Yeah, I need to play some more. I don't think Dread Elves have changed that much, to be honest. I think the hardest point is the 400-500 points. To fit everything into that is what's the most difficult in list building at the moment. The biggest thing is that I think I could probably write a better list. For example, I'd take 2 Kraken any day of the week. I just don't have the models, and as you can see, everything's painted for my Dread Elf army, so I don't really want to revisit it, to be honest. I've got obviously my Warriors army to paint and stuff like that, so yeah, keep with them, people. They're not as bad as you think, and a lot of other armies have taken some, you know, some big nerfs, so yeah, MSU is the way to go. From these 2 games, from these last 2 version 1.2 games, MSU is to go. Anyway, going to wrap up now. Hopefully you've enjoyed the report. If you haven't and you give it a thumbs down, that's absolutely fine, but just comment below and say what you didn't like about it, and I'll try and sort it out for the next videos. Anyway, peace out, people. Bye.